Another edition of GrokTALK, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GrokTALK.com. We are your feared, extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GrokTALK.com.
GrokTALK.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I can't
Yes.
hear myself. Good morning. Ah, there we go. Everything appears to be working.
Steve,
This
the
morning.
face of GrokTALK.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Face. We need another face.
Yours
Face.
is the first
Faces.
face
Faces.
everybody sees on the live stream.
Oh, well, we could definitely improve listenership and viewership if we change that. That's just my opinion. Oh, hang on. I got to check your mic. Can you talk again some more?
Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let me just check your volumes. We've adjusted the board a little, and we want to make sure that we're not
I can't hear
blowing anybody out. That's him, not me.
Well,
Okay.
if you can get the lady who appeared in the Protein World's Subway ad over in London to come in every Saturday morning, we could certainly use her as the face of GrokTALK.
We could use Sarah. She's up there on the wall.
Yes, that's true.
Anyway, welcome
So
to the show.
that's a mascot.
Welcome to the month of May. It is May 2nd. We are broadcasting from Concord, New Hampshire.
Yes, the day after the International Workers' Day.
Right.
Remember when she was first introduced onto the scene and Rush said something along the lines of guns, God, and babies, oh my? I think it still applies.
So we have a good show for you. Greg Klein from Red Maryland. We've had him on the show before. He's connected in Maryland. He's got a lot of things going on down there. The Red Maryland Radio Network, you can see them at redmaryland.com. Conservative bloggers and activists, and we're going to have him on the program to talk to us about his view from inside the state of the Baltimore riots. Max Abramson's coming in to do our legislative update, and then we're going to do some other stuff with Max at 9:30. Ron Moore, our storm chaser, is going to come in and give us a little our segment update, our monthly segment update on climate and weather.
I need to know, are we going to have a bad winter as what we just had? Because it's time to buy wood again.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm a little behind on my long range forecast listening. I usually at least once a week try to take some time to go to Weather Bell and listen to the weekly update that you can get for free. Premium subscribers get a lot more out of that. But it's Saturday summary at weatherbell.com. Joe Bastardi gives you lots of details. It's usually about 10 to 13 minutes long. And you learn a lot of things about the way the planet and the weather work. Even if you don't want to agree with his position as far as global warming or any of that other stuff, you learn about water temperatures and how these things affect the weather. And he shows you the history of past years that look exactly the same and how the weather was the same that year, and that's how they use these analog years to figure out what their predictions are for their paying customers who want to know how to respond to their business activities, things they're going to do, mostly that are affected by weather. So, I mean, if you're in agriculture, if you're in any kind of mineral business, drilling or whatever, anything where you're outdoors, shipping, you want to know what the weather's going to be like. And they do long-range forecasts, and you can pay for all the very, very dirty details down to the, the minus fine details about what the expectations are for the weather. Now, they were pretty right on, and they've been pretty right on.
Last 2 years.
Last couple of years that we've been paying attention to them. They nailed the winters. They've been pretty good with the spring so far. And I would expect that their long-range forecasts are probably about as reliable as you're going to get. So you can go to weatherbell.com and check it out. There's every week on the right side, and probably by lunchtime or so, I think, the update for every Saturday, where you can watch the previous one. And he talks a lot about, climate stuff. And sometimes he has to have a climate rant because the TV will come out and they'll start talking about, the polar vortex. And so he did an entire thing where he explained what that all was. It's just Alberta Clippers. We've had them forever, blah, blah, blah. Whenever they come out and talk about the drought in California, he came out and said, well, take a look. Here's when the last time there was a drought. This is what the oceans look like. And then this is what it looks like now. Geez, gosh, doesn't it look the same? That's why, it's not man-made. You can go back and see And he shows it to you. You learn about the weather. You learn about...
Well, it's a little bit man-made because, A, we got all that agriculture and we're pumping the aquifers.
Well,
B...
in the absence of all that stuff,
But yeah,
the weather that occurs that results in the behavior, regardless of man's influence, is a result of solar, ocean temperatures, and things like volcano eruptions.
And cosmic rays.
And cosmic rays. Well, that affects
and cosmic
cloud
rays.
cover, but that's sun and some other stuff.
Well, the cosmic rays and their effect on the formation of condensation nuclei, i.e. clouds, is triggered by the greater or lesser amount of cosmic rays approaching the atmosphere, which are blown back literally by the solar wind a lot of the time. And then when the sun has a quiet period, we get more cosmic rays making it through and more clouds and cooler temperatures. But no, I wasn't saying, oh my God, it's global warming.
Oh,
or,
no.
Or oh my God, it's always man's fault. What I'm saying is California is messed up. I tried not to use the other word because of human activity. Because of human activity. On the one hand, there is a lot of agriculture, and not all of it is suitable for California because there's no market for water. People are getting, or were getting, more than made sense because they weren't paying the full cost. But on the other hand, you've got government, both federal and state, doing stupid stuff like actually letting water flow to the sea in the interest of those dumb minnows. No, not Rachel, the fish. That live in the San Francisco or actually the San Francisco Bay in the Delta, and if we actually built the dams instead of trying to destroy them, and if we actually used the water that we had for agriculture and drinking water, we wouldn't have a shortage. And if we allowed market price, the crop mix might change a little, but the land would still be very fertile.
Yeah, I also think that this is a case of government exacerbating a problem that government started in the first place. Way back before Moonbeam became governor, his dad was the one who was putting in the vast water infrastructure into place for California, knowing that this is normally a lot of it is desert. And then Moonbeam and his cohort of hippie environmentalists came in, and they've started to take down the dams. They've disabled a few other things, and they have refused to continue on. You keep hearing from the left, government's all about infrastructure, all about infrastructure. Well, since 1970, they haven't built a single thing to help with their infrastructure of any size at all.
So do you mean literally Jerry Brown's dad, or do you mean Jerry Brown's prior incarnation as governor?
No, his dad. His dad was governor before.
And he's been governor twice now. You'd think they'd learn something from that.
No, they didn't.
The problem, I guess, is that people don't understand that the place that they live and the agriculture that they engage in is impossible without the water infrastructure that they have been dismantling.
Yes.
So they've dismantled it, and now they're sitting here going, gee, it used to be such a great place. What the heck happened? And the Democrats and all the people who dismantled the infrastructure are blaming the climate.
And the farmers now.
And now the farmers. But it's not their fault. I mean, you went in and you irrigate the valley. You make it possible to turn it into this massive cornucopia, this breadbasket that can produce all this food. They just need water. That's all they need. And then you tear that apart. You say, you can't have the water. We have to protect the tiny little fish.
And there's 8, they've only found 8 of these little delta smelts. That's it.
Oh, really? So that few? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The other problem is, even if you agree with that, you still need to replace that water. So they've had decades to do desalination plants. They could have invested in all kinds of infrastructure to guarantee that California had plenty of water for the people that they encouraged to come and live there. And they didn't do it.
Well, that's okay. They're now discouraging people from living there, partly with tax policy and partly with environmental policy. Yeah. The question is, where's the agriculture going to go? I mean, some of the agriculture was totally ludicrous, like almonds and rice paddies. But, the plain fact is that it's a beautiful place with wonderful climate, nice valleys. Even stuff down by the coast that you'd think might be salt marsh isn't. It's where they grow artichokes and broccoli and things. I mean, the cornucopia's got nothing on it. California, as a country, would be practically self-sufficient. They got oil off the coast. They got everything they need if they would just manage it properly.
All that will be left is the movie industry and the porn industry, which is technically a movie industry, because those are that's probably all they're going to have.
Well, even they are moving out, the porn folks, because of
the
all
taxes
the
and all the regulations.
onerous regulations. Yes. But here's the other thing.
They even screwed that up.
Yeah. Yeah, how do you screw porn up?
Gosh.
But, the other thing that's of major laughability is you hear from the Democrats, income inequality is a bad thing. And they've been ranting about it for a few years now. But if you go to California, and if you believe the writings of Professor Victor Davis Hanson, who writes often on The Corner,
and by the way, lives in the Central Valley.
And that's what I was going to. He's a farmer. He's an academic, but a farmer, and he writes often about the lawlessness that he is now seeing outside of
any headset.
Yeah, sit there, Max. It's easier. It's better for the camera.
And you're looking very spiffy today in your suit.
But as I was going to say, he's writing about the lawlessness and the absence of government outside of these very rich enclaves that have very green grass because they can afford to pay for the water. And he's saying it's being hollowed out. That pretty soon California is going to be the most unequal state in the union because you're going to have all of the high rich movie type folks, Silicon Valley type folks, and then you have all the illegal immigrants coming across basically as a slow moving barbarian horde taking what they want and not obeying the law, and there's nothing that government is doing to provide the rule of law.
No, I mean, first you have to provide the rule of law, and secondly, there's nothing wrong with inequality. It's called incentive.
No, at this, you're right to a point, but
inequality forced by the government is a problem.
Yes.
Inequality caused by hollowing out of the middle class by incorrect. I think that's the one that's live, Max.
I just try that. Go ahead and talk.
Just testing. How are you guys doing?
Good.
That's the one. Okay.
You sound a little windy today.
Yeah. This one's still on, I think, from the sound of it.
Okay.
That's better.
Try that.
Yep.
There we go. Are you on now? No, that doesn't sound like it either.
Steve's lost control of his board.
No. Talk again.
Good morning. It's beautiful weather
we have
today.
Max live.
Here's the problem. I have 4 headsets that Skip and I are coming through the same board, so we're on the same slider on here. And then there's 4 other headsets here, and I know you're one, but I don't know which one you're wearing. So anyway.
Yeah, I think what we need is little colored tags. That's probably the best thing.
Didn't we start this off in the pre-show talking about Mickey, Goofy, and
Yeah, we were going to
Daffy?
label them with something.
Yeah, well, I think
cartoon characters or something.
Hang on a minute, put some ears on.
There you go.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close to that.
Rock Disney.
We're pretty close to that on a good day.
And Max's face is saying it all. It's like, you guys are Looney Tunes.
We could
Well,
do
that
actually,
too. No, that's
we could do Looney Tunes. That would work.
That's a different cartoon company.
Actually, that's not what I was thinking. We had Carly Fiorna on last week, and one of the biggest questions asked by engineers, especially electrical engineers all over the world, is Hewlett-Packard had the world's. When they bought Compaq had bought digital equipment. They bought the DEC Alpha.
I used to work for DEC.
Was the world's fastest processor, had the highest floating point benchmarks ever, had tremendous integer benchmarks. It was just fast. It was just a screamer. It was the race car of microprocessors. And all the supercomputers and high-end servers and high-end workstations were now being built on the DEC Alpha. And everyone loved it. It was a true RISC processor. It followed the philosophy exactly, didn't have any instructions that got in the way of performance. It was the best thing out there. Hewlett-Packard bought up Compaq, so now they owned the DEC Alpha. Under Carly Fiorina, under Carly Fiorina, they didn't use the DEC Alpha. They made a terrible deal with Intel to use the Itanium, now called the Itanic, because it was a very badly designed instruction set architecture. It was the rule in processors is, if you want to make a processor fast, you keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. If you make it too complicated, it's going to be slow. And this was the one person. Now she's running for president. This was the one person who was key in making the decision.
This may not be a bad idea, though. What if she does that to government and makes it slow? We're going to take a quick break.
Well,
yes,
but
hang on, we're taking a break.
Max's point is more complex.
I know it is, but on the simple level, and he's probably right, and we can talk about that
We
at
shall.
9:30 after
We're
we do
simple.
a legislative update. We're going to take a break first.
It's the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is a repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now, at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested, riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW, New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at gerardatlarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
Grok TV.